Yo, Tripolar Bear. We're talking about how I went from my 50, 100 divines to Mageblood, kind of just how I finished my Mageblood grind. I understand not everybody is going to be at this point in their Path of Exile, build and in their grind and maybe even in their entire Path of Exile career, but that's fine. I have a video on how you can go from your first 0 to 50, 0 to 100. TLDR is just expedition, but go ahead and check that out. But this is for the juicers. This is something you can look forward to farming, and it's a little bit more currency per hour. Yesterday, I hit about 7 div per hour, and I've got like 30, 40 div in the build. It's not something that's completely unobtainable. I'm not using a Mageblood build to get my Mageblood, All right, I think 30 div is pretty reasonable, right? You do some expedition, you log in. If you're having a struggle getting 30 divines in a league, then I would highly, highly recommend checking out my other video and getting into the groove of things with Expedition. But for this video, we're talking about skittering orb delirium farming, which is how I was able to farm an absolute and utter crap load of Scarabs. At the end of yesterday's stream, I had 80, look at this. I had like 80 divines worth of Scarabs. This was all farmed in one session. We did 68, 80% delirious, skittering orbed strand maps. Lots and lots of big gaming yesterday to get hundreds and hundreds of rusteds, hundreds of polished, and then, 50 plus of each gilded. So let's talk about that, and let's talk about the profit first, because that's the interesting, cool part, right? Obviously. So yesterday, after doing Exilence Next, checking them, using the bulk tool, it turns out that you cannot sell Scarabs at 115 anymore. So I had sold mine at 90%, which came out to about 83 div in total. And so I made about 50 divines profit over the course of that whole stream, and I streamed for that point, doing that little burst of 7 hours, which is kind of excessive, right? But I mean, I'm a streamer. That's what I'm supposed to do. So it was 7 hours of just lots and lots of farming. It wasn't as hard or as fast as I could have gone, but it was 7 hours of farming nonetheless. So it came out to about 7 div an hour, which is pretty nice. Like, honestly, that's really, really good, right? For like a 30, 40 divine build, especially for one where you kind of just shield charge and have left mouse button being held down, killing everything, right? It's really, really fun stuff. If you want to know about the build, Ignite Vortex, it's my latest video. Go check that out. It's just a video right before this one on YouTube. But yeah, Ignite Vortex, lovely build. Made this absolutely easy to just blast them away. And it was fun, dude. I leveled up to, I think I'm 98 now. All right, it was pretty nice, man. It's pretty nice. You got the stun tech, makes it comfy and all that. I die a few times, but, it's 80% delirium with all the juice. So, what is all of the juice? Also, that 50 divines, that 7 div an hour, that 83 divines. When you're doing this, you can, if you want, you can sell your Scarabs, list them yourself, squeeze and milk as much as you can out. But man, do you really want to do that with all these Scarabs, right? When I sell these, I go to the TFT. I use the bulk TFT tool. I've used it in a video. It's TF Trove, or you can use POE Stack. Go check that website out. It's really nice, and that's also in another one of my videos. It's in the 0 to 100 divine video, so go check that out. But yeah, man, when you have this many, you want to sell them all at once, which is really nice, because all the money for this strategy is just Scarabs, right? It's a Scarab farming strategy. Like literally 90% of it is Scarabs, and then you get random currencies. You might get some stacked decks from the random rewards, and then just random stuff the monsters or the altars drop, right? It's just all Scarabs. So I did an 83 divine trade. It was kind of frustrating because, all the people on TFT, they're brokies. They just didn't have enough. They did not have enough to be able to buy all of my Scarabs. So, it is what it is, dude. It is what it is. But all right, let's get to the actual strategy though. The actual strategy. So this is about what your Atlas tree should look like. The strat I'm using is straight up, it's just Grimro's Delirium. So if you Google Delirium farming max roll, Grimro has an article on this. I adapted it a little bit though, because let's talk about that. I adapted it in one way where I don't use Abyss. And I don't use Abyss because Abyss is really slow. And while it does add an extra reward tier, right, if we go here, you know, this whole strat is about using the Delirium rewards bar fills faster. And so you start here, you get the reward bars to fill really fast. And by the end of the map, you're always hitting about 14, 15, sometimes 16 of these reward tiles. Abyss would get me from 15 to 16. It would get me 16 to 17. It might even, if I get lucky, get me 2 reward tiers. But it adds so much extra time to the map that even though my per map profit goes up, my divines per hour goes down because it's taking me so much longer to clear each individual map. Now, that may be necessary at some point in the league where the prices, I don't know, equalize a little bit and the supplies get more expensive and what we get out is less expensive. So you perhaps may need to juice them a little bit harder and really milk that Abyss and, you know, get all those monsters, get the reward tiers. But for now, it is more than profitable to do it slightly less efficiency on a per map basis so that you can have more total profit per hour. So we skip Abyss. Yeah, the TLDR is we skip Abyss because it's too slow. So the Scarabs we use. The main and necessary ones are Breach. Breach is just good. Lots of monsters. And on this build, it's fun as hell to kill a bunch of Breach monsters. Soulfight. I get questions about that a lot. Soulfight is for Packed with Energy. We gain +1 in max res per Soulfight, 35 damage per Soulfight, and 15 move speed. So this becomes 115% damage, 3 max res, and 45 move speed through the whole map. That's really, really nice. And you also get Azurite. And then you go to Nico. Actually, I haven't done that yet. Over the last few days, I've been building it up. You use the Sulfite Scarab, you get Nico, you click the chest. With this node, you're also getting, from Sulfite Veins, you're getting Azurite sometimes. And so you come here, you do the very first thing. You have to do the tutorial to be able to use your Azurite. So I have 100,000 Azurite. I get to just buy a bunch of one-socket resonators, and I get to sell all of these. So this is just like another nice little way to get some decent money, right? Each of these is 1C each, so 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, 300, 334.
Goodbye.
You know, an extra 334 chaos for 3 points on the tree over the last few days of farming. Sure, dude. You can put it in quant if you want, but really just having the damage and move speed is good enough. Then ambush. Do ambush because there's ambush nodes on the tree, and you know there's not really anything else you're gonna select that's like too crazy if you're not doing abyss. So you know you do ambush, you get div card dupe, you get currency dupe. They're rare. Sometimes you get operative strong boxes, so you get a couple more scarabs. But generally with the strong boxes, I didn't even full clear them because they'll spawn a random monster and it's annoying and it slows the map down. And the strong box drops aren't really that good when I could just go, kill more monsters and you know have more fun doing the breaches and killing the big packs and then getting into the next map. Versus like, where's that rogue exile? And like, oh man, where's the one golem who hasn't popped out of the ground yet? Like, let me run around. You know, it's just annoying, right? So if the strong box doesn't die right away, I just move on. I'm over it. The last one is a flex pick. This could be something like cartographers. This can be whatever. If you're doing cemetery, it could be div. If you're doing crypto temple, it could be div. You know, you do a different map and it could be div. I chose reliquary because I'm a streamer, and how cool would that be to get a Mageblood or a Headhunter to drop? Right? I might as well just let myself have extra chance. Right? 100% more unique items found. That's double the Magebloods. Okay, I get 2 Mageblood cliffs instead of 1. I'm going to use Polished Reliquary when I'm doing juice. As far as compasses, we do magic pack size. Delirium bar rewards fill 100% faster. This is how you get up to 16 tiles. Otherwise, you'd only get like, I don't know, 11 or 10 or something. It's really, really good. It's necessary. An extra breach. Of course, we want more breaches. They're very fun and they have lots of monsters. And then Hunted Traders. Hunted Traders is nice. Hunted Traders puts monsters in your map. Lots of them. And they're pretty good. They generally have like a nice favorable amount of items they drop alongside just being lots of monsters. So it's always just an easy pickup and it's super, super cheap to do as well. As far as map goes, we do Strand. Why do we do Strand? Because Grim says it's the best map. That's why. Okay, were you going to question Grimro? You think you know better than Grim? If there was a better map to run, he would have told us to run that map. Okay, I only question him about the Abyss because I have pretty good valid reasoning, okay? But as far as maps go, Strand's the best. There's some like secret equation where there's like the monsters per map, and then every monster has some like variable where it gives so much of the Delirium reward progress, and Strand is the perfect combination of layout and Delirium tile progress, right? Those little rewards, right? These right here. It's the perfect combination of like monster per whatever to get the most tiles on the best layout for what. Okay, yada yada yada. Math gook. Just trust us. Trust, not even me. Trust Grimro. Strand is the best. You can change it. It'll be worse, but you could get brothers to drop or whatever the hell. Okay. And I might do it just to get a change of pace, right? I might do cemetery or something, just so I have it's like a new farm. Like, whoa, I'm not doing the same thing. I'm in a new zone. It feels totally different. Yeah. So 60, 80, 100% Delirium. What do you do? Also, if I didn't explain it, we're using skittering Deli Orbs, right? So it's these. They give the Scarabs. You put these on your maps to roll them. So what I do
when I'm ready and not
is
before.
I will have a tab where I like roll all my maps out. I'll have a regex with awakened trade macro. This will be linked in the description if you don't have it already. You hold shift, press space, and you can save these things. So I have one for cold dot, or this is really ignite vortex now. I have one for this, and you can Google POE map regex and highlight all the mods that you don't want. So I have stuff like minus max, avoid ailment, reduce effective curses, extra resistance, or you just choose map mods you don't want to run, and I'll just go down the line, roll all my maps, right? I scour them all, I chisel them all, and then I elk them all, and then I roll them to not have this. And you'll have the regex, and then you'll click normal so that you know which ones you need to re-elk, and then you click this, you scour, you binding them again, click normal, find the ones you need to redo, and then do again. But then, how many skittering Deli Orbs do you put on there? It's expensive. The content's kind of difficult. How many? Well, so do 60. If 60 is pretty easy, then you try 80. And if 80 is about as fast as 60, then you farm 80. The only reason you wouldn't go to 80% is if it's much slower than 60, right? If it's much slower, then it's going to be better for you to just farm 60%. But honestly, if you can farm 60, you probably can do 80, and it should be pretty worth it. 80, especially on this build, is not too bad. I mean, I have explosions, but I really, at the end of the day, only have about 4 million ignite DPS, which isn't like too crazy, right? 4 million dot DPS, including flame surge on bosses and whatnot. So really, it's like 2 something clear, which, it's enough. That's enough to clear 80% deli maps, have all the explosions. You don't need to kill every monster. You just need to kill most of them. You can leave the big ones that are annoying, right? If you have like one monster that is it's like life regen, drops consecrated ground, and then has rotating resistances or something, dude, just skip it. Like, what? You're gonna spend like 30 seconds killing a monster when those 30 seconds could have been you killing 3 breaches and opening 5 boxes or something, right? Stuff like that. The random monsters, the daily bosses, you could just skip them, right? That's the only downside of having low damage, is you don't kill like literally every monster, but you don't have to make a bunch of money. Why don't you go to 100 deli? Well, going to 100 deli is a bad idea because it's just so much slower. It is just not worth it to go to 100% Delirium because of how much slower it is compared to 80. Now, if you have a build that does 100 as fast as 80, or only slightly slower, then, sure, of course, right? But that's going to be hundreds of divines. That's going to be Mageblood plus, okay? So most of you are going to be doing 60-80, and that's totally fine. Last question for this strategy is, can my build do it? I'm going to get this question a lot. Do you think my build can do it? And the only way for me to answer that question is for you to get the F in that map, okay? Literally just buy 3 or 4 random orbs, just put them on a map, and add a rusted breach scarab, add a rusted ambush. If you want, you can buy like a hunted trader compass and a pack size compass, right? You don't have to do the deli bars. You don't even have to have good deli orbs. Really, you should be able to do it by just testing a breach in an 80% deli, testing breach in a 60% deli. It can even be like a random crappy map. And as long as you can clear them most of the time with your build, right, you get most of the monsters in your breaches, get most of the monsters in your maps, then yeah, you should be fine, man, right? I'm not going to be able to look at your build and say, oh, yes, by my internal calculations, I can conclude that the efficacy of this build is high enough where the yield of the Scarabs that you'll get from doing this will be profitable. You're just going to have to get in a map and try it, man, right? Like, just try one map. I'm not saying try one skittering. I'm saying try one, literally any, with 80 deli. And then you'll know, right? Then you'll know. That's the only way to know, is to get in there and try it. But anyways, this was how to make a bunch of currency if you already have some, by farming some pretty fun stuff with a pretty cool build. I don't know. I've been having fun with it. I probably will continue it a little bit more. I finally got Mageblood, so I can finally relax and enjoy the video game. But anyways, I'll catch you guys later. Like, subscribe. See you on the live stream, and peace, homies. Mwah.